Before we begin today's story, let us remember the voice behind it. Pudumai Pittan, born C. Viruthachalam in 1906, was a master of modern Tamil literature. Though his life was brief, his impact was seismic. He brought a psychological depth and sharp irony to the Tamil short story that remains startlingly honest even today. Often compared to Dostoevsky for his fearless exploration of the human conscience, Pudumai Pittan's work continues to resonate. Most recently featured in S. Ramakrishnan's anthology of 100 Great Short Stories. Today, we enter one of his most profound works. Written in 1943, this story asks a playful yet haunting question. What if God walked among us? Mind you, not as a miracle worker, but as a fellow traveler. Through the divine encounter with hunger, money, and pride, we witness the subtle negotiation of everyday life. We will share the story in three parts. Each episode is a 15 to 20 minutes pause in your day to sit quietly with literature. This is Blue Satchel Audios, where stories travel across languages. I am Nilari. Come, let us meet the God who walks among humans. Melagaram M.K. Ramasamy Pillai, only son, known in familiar speech as M.K.R. Kandasamy Pillai, stood at the safer edge of the junction where Broadway and the Esplanade met, engaged in a most serious train of thought. If I take the tram, it's an anna and a quarter. I'd have a quarter left for Peter lives, but I'd have to walk. If I take the bus, maybe I can slip past the conductor until Central, maybe. Then I'd have enough for a half a cup of coffee. But then, no Beetle lives. Now, when the conductor himself almost invites me to take advantage of the situation, tricking him, that is, tricking him without him realizing, would surely be against Dharma. If only yesterday he had allowed me to pay from Central, just as he suggested, I might have had my coffee then. Coffee would boost my energy for sure. While Pillai was deeply absorbed in his own thought, pondering over moral principles, precisely at that moment, God appeared to him. God did not arrive in a blinding flash of light. He did not demand that Pillai accept a miracle. He simply walked up to him and asked, Sir, how do I get to Triplicate? Pillai responded, By tram, by bus, or by your own 2 feet. As we say in Tamil, the way to Madurai is at your lips. God retorted, I'm not going to Madurai. I asked for the way to Triplicate, which is the shortest route. And both of them burst out laughing and couldn't contain themselves. Stepping aside from the crowd that surged around them, they moved near a cobbler repairing sandals and stood there. Melakaram Ramasamy Pillai's hair was 45 years old. His body was thin as a reed, as if he had not eaten a proper meal in 45 years. His hair was almost grey, with only a few black strands remaining, and his face carried a couple of weeks' stubble. His eyes were very sharp and could pick out an acquaintance even in the thickest crowd. He was dressed in a simple unbleached cotton, a veshti, a shirt, and an angavastram across his shoulders. Kandasamy Pillai studied the person who had asked him for directions. It was impossible to tell his age with any certainty. He might have been 60 or 60,000. Yet his body showed no traces of hunger. It seemed to belong to a man who had eaten well all his life. His hair was completely white, not a trace of black left, falling about his neck in a wild strands like the mane of a lion. At the center of his neck was a large dark mole. His eyes were dark and fiery, darted restlessly in every direction. At moments, they seemed to blaze with an intensity of a madman's glare. And his smile, that smile, sometime unsettled Kandasamy Pillai. At other moments, it softened into something almost childlike. I am very thirsty, said God. You'll not find drinking water here, said Kandasamy Pillai. But if you like, we can have coffee. There is a coffee house just around the corner. Come now, let's go and taste the coffee, invited God. Kandasamy Pillai was a thoroughgoing non-dualist. He did not trouble himself with petty distinctions such as a stranger and an acquaintance. He said, very well, come, let us go. Still, a small doubt flickered through his mind. What if this man leaves the bill to me instead of paying it? But in Kandasamy Pillai's settled opinion, a man without courage would only go on suffering, so he accepted the invitation. They entered a large coffee house. God tiptoeing behind Kandasamy Pillai and sat down at a nearby table. Before the waiter could begin his memorized menu list, Kandasamy Pillai shook his head. 2 cups of coffee, hot and strong. Do not forget, Thamar, interjected God. You should say 2 cup of coffees. Oh, not like that, sir. You must say 2 cups coffee, said Pillai, asserting the authority of knowing Tamil. The overruled God looked around the building. It's a fine, tall place, he observed. There is plenty of light. Then what? This is a large hotel. Did you expect it to look like a hen coop? You seem to think it is built like a temple. Health inspectors would never permit that, exclaimed Pillai, continuing to press his victory in matters he knew well. At the mention of the word temple, God's whole body trembled visibly. In that case, he said thoughtfully, despite being defeated, tell me, what does sanitization actually mean? Sanitization, Pillai scoffed. It means wiping tables with a bit of lotion so the health inspectors doesn't fine you. In schools, they teach it so boys can fail their exams. They say flies are demons and life is in danger if one enters the room. Even he was momentarily astonished at the speech that had come from his own mouth. He wondered whether the grace of Lord Saraswati had suddenly descended upon his tongue. God did not listen. He was too busy watching a fly drown in a puddle of spilled coffee. Isn't it here? Asked God. To help the fly, he extended his fingers and touched the spilled coffee. Oh no, sir, you've touched the spilled coffee. Here, take this water and wash your hands under the table. A fly is not permitted to come inside, but washing one's hands under the table is permitted. This is hygiene for these. Huh, muttered God. Just then, the waiter set down 2 cups of coffee on the table. God lifted his cup and drank. His face lit up with delight, like the gods who had tasted the divine Soma drink. Our own divine clay, he said with pride and satisfaction. That is hardly your divine play. It is the hotel owner's trick. He has added chicory powder. Your divine play will appear only when you settle the bill. Kandasamy Pillai whispered in God's ear and was pleased with himself that the bill had been neatly passed down to God. Chicory powder means? Asked God, raising his head with mild puzzlement. Chicory powder looks exactly like coffee, but it is not coffee. Similar to certain people who go about deceiving the good people of the town while chanting the name of God, said Kandasamy Pillai. At the mention of God, God himself was startled. God produced a crisp 100 rupee note at the cash counter to settle the bill. And Kandasamy stared in surprise. If you wanted change, would I refuse to give it? Snapped the hotel proprietor. Why bring a 3 anna bill for that? Is it to wipe your eyes or your hearts? We came only to drink coffee, assured God. In that case, you would have carried the correct change, wouldn't you? By then, the counter was crowded with people waiting to settle their bills, and not wanting a scene, he tendered the correct change and handed it over. 99 rupees and 13 annas. Count it yourself, holy man. If you say it is correct, that's enough for me, said God. I don't know much math, you see. The shopkeeper felt quite satisfaction at having slipped a counterfeit 10 rupee note among the change. The two of them stepped outside and stood there. It was not very crowded. From the wad of notes in his hand, God took the fifth one, tore it into tiny pieces, and scattered them on the ground. Kandasamy Pillai wondered if the man beside him was mad. Startled, he stood there, mouth open. Huh? A counterfeit note, God said. He tried to trick me, so I tricked him instead. And his smile was very unsettling. Oh, if you had given it to me, Pillai grumbled, I would have caught the Brahmin by his top knot and made him change it. Did you not agree to chicory powder? Said God. In the same way, suppose I agreed to this. To him, 10 rupees is a big matter. That's why I let him trick me. Pillai was wondering how to take leave of the man who had just bought him a cup of coffee. You are going to Triplicane, aren't you, sir? Come, let us take the tram, he invited God. Oh, no, no, God said quickly. Those things make me dizzy. I prefer to walk slowly. Sir, I have been walking all day. I cannot take another step. Let us take a rickshaw instead, suggested Kandasamy Pillai. His reasoning was very simple. A man who could tear up a 10 rupee note could surely afford the fare, he thought. A vehicle pulled by a human being. That is splendid indeed, agreed God. Both of them climbed into the rickshaw. Sir, wait a moment, I will light the lamp, said the rickshaw puller. As the daylight was fading, the electric light was taking over. How quickly we have become so familiar to each other, said Kandasamy Pillai. I do not know who you are, and you do not know who I am, and yet we meet like this in the bustle of the city market. Can you believe it? God smiled, his teeth gleaming in the dark. Never mind who I am. Why don't you introduce yourself? Now, Kandasamy Pillai always had a special enthusiasm for speaking about himself. And if someone happened to be caught with him in a running rickshaw, would he let him escape? Clearing his throat, he began. Have you ever seen the medical journal called Siddha Vaidya Deepikai? No, said God. Then one must conclude that you are unfamiliar with medical science, said Kandasamy Pillai. I'm familiar with it, interjected God. What a fix this is, thought Kandasamy Pillai for a minute, and continued. You may be familiar with medical science, but let's assume you're not familiar with Siddha Vaidya Deepikai. In that case, your knowledge of medical science is incomplete. I have 17 years of the book issue, all bound into nice volumes. You must come home one day and read them. Only then his voice trailed off. 17 years of issues. 17 times 12? 204. God's mind trembled with that calculation. But a thin hope crossed his mind. Perhaps this could be a quarterly magazine. But Kandasamy Pillai quickly removed that faint hope. Deepikai is a monthly magazine, you see, he said. The annual subscription is 1 rupee within country. For abroad, we charge 2 and 3 quarters. A life subscription is just 25 rupees. It would be extremely beneficial if you became a subscriber. If you wish, I shall send it to you for a year first. After that, we can consider the life subscription. And with that, he even tried to sign God himself up as a subscriber. 17 volumes. And on top of that, another 25 rupees. Does he think he can chase me for life? I must not give him the chance even for a day, thought God. Whose life? He questioned. Your life, of course, said Kandasamy Pillai. Not mine, nor the magazine's. The magazine is an imperishable thing. You see, even if I am gone, someone else will continue to run Siddha Vaidya Deepikai. Arrangements have already been made for that. At that moment, the rickshaw puller slowed the rickshaw and looked back. Kandasamy Pillai was afraid that if the rickshaw slowed, the passenger might jump down and make a run for it. Hey, why are you turning back? Watch out, a motor car is coming. Don't run into it. Go faster, said Kandasamy Pillai. What is this, sir? Are you human being or some kind of ghost? The rickshaw feels as if there is no one in it. It is flying like the wind, said the rickshaw puller. We will pay the fare, feel like the wind too. You just pull the rickshaw and go, snapped Kandasamy Pillai. And then, turning again to his companion, he resumed. Besides that, I also practice medicine. Siddha medicine is my discipline. Whatever I earn from the practice is just enough to maintain the magazine and my family. In this month's issue, I have written an article on Rasakattu. You see, I happened to come across an old manuscript. It contains many rare preparations. Kandasamy Pillai began. Goodness, this son of mine shows no sign of stopping, thought God. On an average day, how many people do you trap, my dear? He asked. Nothing much to boast about. On top of that, you must remember that medical practice is my livelihood. The trick lies in this: the illness should not completely go away, nor should the patient disappear. Only then can the disease be carried on as a business with the one who comes for treatment. If one treats either the patient or the disease too harshly, the practice will not last. The illness must slowly lose its force and be cured little by little. The medicine must not harm either the disease or the patient. That is the way the business works. Otherwise, you tell me, would it have been possible to run a journal for 17 years? God nodded, as if he had understood the point. Show me your hand, said Pillai suddenly. Let me examine your pulse. Ha! In a moving vehicle, laughed God. Pillai took the hand with great seriousness, studied for a minute. There is a lot of heat in your system. Do you put toxins into your body? God laughed. Ha ha, you are quite a clever fellow. There are plenty of other habits too. By the by, we've been talking about all sort of things. But but that aside, where in Triplicane? Asked Kandasamy Pillai. I need to go to number 7, Officer Venkatachala Mudali Street, said God. Good heavens, that's my address. Whom do you wish to see there? A man called Kandasamy Pillai, replied God. Oh, what a coincidence! I am the one you're looking for. It looks like God Himself has brought us together. And may I know who you might be? I don't quite recognize you, said Kandasamy Pillai. Me? I am God. And he said this unhurriedly, looking up at the sky while stroking his beard. Kandasamy Pillai blinked in disbelief. God? Here of all places? I have come to see the earthly world. For a few days, I shall be your guest. Kandasamy Pillai spoke with immediate anxiety. Be my guest for as many days as you like. I have no objections to that. Only, please don't go around trumpeting that you are God. It doesn't matter if people think you are mad, but my wife mustn't think I'm one too. Stop near the lamp, Kandasamy Pillai instructed the rickshaw puller. The rickshaw came to a halt. The two of them got down. God took out a shiny 1 rupee note and gave it to the rickshaw puller. May you be well, sir, said the rickshaw man warmly. The blessing seemed to come straight from the heart. Imagine a man blessing God. What's this? Kandasamy Pillai snapped. How can you bless an elder like that? That's all right. Bless me like that, my child. It's been so long since I heard words that gladdened both my ears and my heart. What is wrong if he says it? God said, turning to Kandasamy Pillai. Try giving him 2 annas less and see, then you will know, said Kandasamy Pillai. Master, I'm bound by fairness, not by injustice. Dear sir, I'll usually be found at the stand. If you come by, try my service again for sure, said the rickshaw puller, lifting the shafts. A great servant of justice indeed, said Kandasamy Pillai. I know your sort very well. Servant of liquor, actually. Try pulling the hand rickshaw all day under the blazing sun. Then you will know. What is the point of telling you, mister? God has no eyes. He made you say it and made me hear it, he muttered, pulling the rickshaw away. God, who witnessed the whole exchange, laughed aloud. He kept laughing, his heart feeling light and refreshed. This is the world of humans, said Kandasamy Pillai. Is that all? Asked God. The two of them began walking towards the house. When they reached near the lamp post opposite to the house, God stopped. Kandasamy Pillai also stood waiting. Oh, devotee, said God. The old man was no longer there. God appeared dressed in tiger skin with matted locks, the deer, the axe, and the crescent as his ornaments. Joyous frenzy danced in his eyes. A gentle smile played on his lips. Devotee, he called again. Kandasamy Pillai understood what was happening. He said, the age old trick of here, take a boon won't work with me. You will grant a boon and go your way. Then another god will turn up and ask for my head. I am not that fool who takes a boon from you and then goes looking for danger to his own head. You came to see human world. You wish to stay as my guest. I have no objection to that. But if you want to keep company with me, you must live like a human, like me. You must abide by human ways. And don't forget what I told you earlier. Come to my house respecting those ways, said Kandasamy Pillai. God followed him silently. Pillai's argument seemed right to him. Who in this world has ever prospered by receiving a boon? No one, thought God. Kandasamy Pillai again paused for a moment near the doorway. Sir, shall I give you the name of Paramasivam or shall I call you Ammayappa Pillai? He asked. God said, Paramasivam will do. Paramasivam the elder. Kandasamy Pillai said, then I'll address you as father. No, 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 my child. Don't call me father. Call me uncle. Only then my property will be safe. God laughed. Having decided to live by the ways of the human world, God felt he should be little careful. Oh, really? And may I know what exactly your treasures are? Pillai mocked. This entire universe. What else? Said God calmly. Do not worry, sir, said Kandasamy Pillai. I'm not that greedy. With that, he stepped across the threshold. The first part concludes here. Now, God has stepped into our ordinary world. But what follows? Will the divine remain a silent observer of our lives? Or will the human condition become the ultimate trial for God Himself? We'll continue this journey in the next episode. Until then, let the question breathe within you. I'm Neelari. This is Blue Satchel Audio. Until next time.